Okay, so you know that classic image everyone has in their head, right? The pyramids
It's a
as
never-ending story.
majestic triangles, just like piercing the desert sky.
Right.
Well, according to some really interesting sources that you sent over, what we see might just be like a tiny little fraction of the whole story,
Yeah.
almost like just the tip of a massive iceberg poking up.
I like that
Massive
analogy.
iceberg poking
and
up. Huh?
today we're going to take a deep dive into the possible discovery of a huge underground city
Wow.
right underneath the Giza Plateau.
It's unbelievable.
So the material you sent details this like really cutting edge technology
Yeah.
that's offering us this peek into what could be hidden, under these like ancient wonders.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to unpack these findings for you, the listener,
Yeah, absolutely.
really get to the heart of what this info reveals
Yeah.
about these incredible structures.
I'm excited.
So this isn't like just some, wild theory or something,
Yeah.
floating around on the internet.
This is serious stuff.
The sources point to some serious tech being used.
Yeah.
We're talking about synthetic aperture radar, or SAR,
Uh-huh.
employed by research teams from,
Big words.
I know, right, big words,
Yeah.
the University of Strathclyde and the University of Pisa.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're using satellites to do this giant X-ray
Right.
of the Earth,
Of the Earth, yeah.
right there at Giza.
That's amazing.
So what exactly...
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what exactly has this radar tech revealed beneath the sand?
Yeah.
Paint us a picture
Yeah, paint a picture for the listeners.
of
Is
this
it true?
potential underground world
Yeah.
that the sources describe.
Okay, so...
Well, the key findings,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, point to a
Comment it,
big
comment it.
network of tunnels chambers
Okay.
and what appear to be just colossal structures.
Wow.
And these seem to be mostly concentrated
Okay.
underneath the Khafre Pyramid.
Yeah.
That's the middle one of the three main pyramids.
Right.
Okay.
However, the researchers think this network probably extends under all three pyramids on the Giza Plateau.
So it's not just a few little rooms they've picked up on the radar?
No, not at all. The data indicates
Yeah.
5 unique formations at the base of the Khafre Pyramid.
Okay.
And what's really interesting
Yeah.
is that these formations,
Mm-hmm.
they're connected by these intricate geometric passages.
Oh my God.
So this structured connectivity
Yeah.
is what leads researchers to think there's this organized, almost city-like
Oh.
layout.
Like a city under the city.
Exactly.
A city under the
Whoa.
city.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
And it gets even more mind-bending, when you get into the detail.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The sources mention these crazy, deep vertical columns.
Right, yeah. The SAR data shows these 8 vertical columns
Yeah.
that go down an incredible 2,125 feet.
Into the earth. What?
I know, and at the end of these columns
Yeah.
are these massive cubic chambers.
Huge.
Each one is 263 feet on each side.
Whoa.
So
Some context.
the Khafre Pyramid itself is about 448 feet tall,
So wait, so these underground chambers are like 5 times the height
pretty much.
of the pyramid.
Yeah, it's almost,
That's above them. That's hard to even imagine.
it's truly hard to comprehend the scale of it.
That is wild.
If you combine the height of the Khafre Pyramid
Uh-huh.
with the depth of these columns and chambers,
Yeah.
you're looking at over 2,800 feet.
That is insane.
Oh my
Taller
God.
than the Burj Khalifa,
Which is
the
literally-
tallest building
Oh.
in the world.
Yeah, the tallest building in the
unbelievable.
world.
It's just incredible.
That is so crazy. So like a structure mostly hidden under the sand
Right.
that's bigger than our most ambitious skyscraper.
You got it.
And the sources give us even more detail about how these subterranean
How
levels
can we
are
believe it?
connected.
Right, they do.
Don't they?
Researchers have found what they call a mind-boggling staircase
Wow.
that seems to spiral on these huge pillars.
So they're connected.
They seem to be.
Wow.
The complexity of this design, especially considering when we think the pyramids were built.
Right. Really amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
It is.
really, really
Corrado
amazing.
Malanga,
Yeah.
one of the lead researchers on this.
He's a big name in the field.
Yeah, he seems pretty convinced by this SAR data.
Absolutely.
Right.
He's quoted saying that they're seeing a true underground world
Wow.
that stretches about 2.1 kilometers
2.1 That's over
2.1
a
kilometers.
under the sand.
Wow.
And he says something really interesting.
Yeah.
That this network could be older than the pyramids.
Older than the pyramids. So-
Yeah, which are about 4,500 years old.
So we're
4,500
talking
years.
really, really old.
Ancient.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Okay, so let's talk about this SAR technology a little more.
Here?
The source compares it to tracking airplanes.
Yeah.
So how does bouncing signals off the ground let us see these huge underground structures?
So think of it like sending out sound waves
Okay.
and listening for the echoes.
Uh-huh.
The satellites send out microwave radiation
Okay.
that can go through
Okay.
the ground.
Right.
Different materials underground reflect these signals in different ways.
Got it.
So by studying these reflections,
Yeah.
scientists can make images
Oh, wow.
that show the shapes and densities of what's under the surface.
That's awesome.
Dr. Malanga says they've gotten consistent signals
Okay.
across many different scans.
That means...
So it's not likely to be just random anomalies or false readings.
Yeah.
It's pretty convincing,
And it's not just these deep structures right under the pyramid.
right?
The sources mention a wider spread of what look like really old archaeological remains,
Yeah, that's right.
going beyond the pyramids themselves.
Yeah, the imagery from the SAR
Yeah.
shows what seem to be ancient remnants
Okay.
that spread out way past the pyramid foundations.
So like a whole settlement.
It really supports the idea of a huge and potentially very ancient settlement.
That's wild. So
Yeah.
this really changes how we
It's
think about
unbelievable.
the pyramids.
It does.
For so long, we thought they were just tombs for pharaohs.
Yeah.
So
the
many
classic
mysteries.
Explanation.
Yeah. This throws that into question.
It makes you wonder.
Yeah, what were they really for?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
How much older could this network be?
Yeah.
Who built it?
Yeah.
How did they build
Commented,
something
commented.
this
Who built it?
complex?
Yeah.
Thousands of years before we thought the pyramids were built.
The source talks a lot about that, you know? The
Yeah.
advanced knowledge needed
It's pretty mind-blowing.
to build these intricate staircases and huge chambers so deep underground.
How was
and they
this
say
possible?
Potentially 2,500 years
Right.
before the time of Christ.
That's a long time ago.
That's crazy, that level of engineering for that time.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom.
So are we talking about a civilization?
It's possible.
That was way more advanced than we thought.
We might have to
Very
rethink
advanced.
what we know about ancient Egyptian history.
Right, and that leads us to some other theories about the pyramids,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
like the Orion correlation theory,
Right. Yeah.
Robert Bauval's theory.
A classic.
Yeah.
He says the layout of the three main pyramids
Mm-hmm.
matches the alignment of the stars in Orion's belt.
Oh my God.
And that points to the pyramids being much older
Then we think.
than traditional Egyptology says.
Yeah, and then there's that whole debate about the Sphinx.
Oh, yeah, the Sphinx is a whole other mystery.
Some people think it shows signs of water erosion,
Uh-huh.
meaning it was built when the climate was much
Oh.
wetter,
Yeah.
thousands of years before we
Okay.
think.
Exactly.
So this underground city adds another layer
It does.
to all these mysteries.
It really does.
It's like the pyramids are just sitting on top of this, even older.
Like the tip of the iceberg.
An even more mysterious foundation.
Yeah, we're only just starting to see what's really there.
And the sources you sent even talk about some less conventional theories
Oh, yeah.
about what the pyramids were for.
Right.
Not just tombs.
You know, beyond the two.
Like Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe's idea that they might have been blast shelters.
against asteroids.
Yeah, against asteroid
That's
impact.
the wild theory.
It's wild. So could this underground city have been part of that?
I mean, it's possible.
Like a giant bunker system?
Right.
Were they preparing for a catastrophe?
It's a fascinating thought.
What's going
That
on?
is crazy.
It is.
So if the pyramids were meant to protect against some kind of event,
Yeah.
this underground network
Could have been a huge shelter.
for a lot of people.
It's really interesting.
So the sources say the true purpose is still unknown,
Right.
but this definitely makes the mystery even bigger.
For sure. It adds a whole new dimension
Yeah.
to what we thought we knew.
So for you listening, let's go over the key points.
Okay. So,
Researchers have used this high-tech radar to potentially find this massive structure
Yep.
under the pyramids,
that's right.
focused on the Khafre pyramid.
Uh-huh.
It's not just a few rooms, it looks like a whole network.
Yeah.
And it could be older than the pyramids.
Potentially much older.
The scale
Older
of it
than
is
pyramids.
incredible.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
Huge chambers, deep staircases.
Yeah. Changes how we think about ancient engineering.
And this discovery also connects to other theories about the pyramids.
Like the Orion correlation theory
Yeah.
and the age of the Sphinx.
And it raises this possibility
Yeah.
that they were built as shelters.
Right? For some kind of disaster.
That is crazy.
It's a lot to think about.
So this leads to some big questions.
Yeah, like who built this underground city?
Yeah, and what was it
It's a
for?
question
Right,
mark.
what was its
Who
purpose?
built it?
And how did they build it?
With what we think was limited technology.
So many questions.
It's exciting.
It really is.
It makes you wonder.
It does. You know, with this underground city being so big and so old,
Yeah,
do we need to rethink what we know about ancient civilizations?
I think so.
You know, as technology lets us see the past in new ways.
It's like we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, like that iceberg analogy.
Uh-huh.
What's hidden could be way bigger
And more amazing.
than we ever imagined.
Exactly.
That's mind-blowing.
It really is.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
And until next time, keep looking
Thanks.
deeper.